What's up, guys? Daily here from Steam First, and today we're covering the top 5 most anticipated games of 2015, so let's get started. So number 5 on our countdown is Rainbow Six Siege, and this game to me is going to be one of the top anticipated shooters of 2015 just because of the amount of tactical team play you can see here. You've got a 5v5 match, kind of like the best of Counter-Strike Go's feeling, where it's the 5v5 mixed with the Battlefield's destruction. You've got all sorts of different types of weaponry, ways to breach. You can see right here they're looking for different entry points into the building and things like that. And I think with the amount of options that you're going to have and the different ways into the buildings and the destructible objects, that you're going to have a ton of different ways to get into buildings and make sure that the game that you play is never 100% the same as it was the last time you played it. Now on the reverse side, when you're playing as the terrorists, what you'll see here is you have the option to board up things and to lay down traps and reinforce walls, because certain things in the game can be broken and breached and changed and exploded, all sorts of stuff. So this particular one, the counter-terrorists are supposed to come in here and rescue the hostage, and the terrorists have to defend the hostage for a certain amount of time. And with the windows being boarded up, it will delay their entry or possibly give signals on where they're going. So you have all sorts of different elements working from basically like a defensive gameplay all the way into your firefight and combat, which you're looking at right now. And being able to do things like breach different levels of the floor and things like that, you just haven't really got to see in other games. And that is one of the main reasons why it is one of the most top anticipated shooters of 2015 and makes its way onto this list. Other features include customizable weapons, characters, different classes, things of that nature. Hopefully, Rainbow Six Siege will break the mold of the competitive / esports shooter, and we will see a good balance of gameplay to sports features. So that is number 5, and we're moving on to number 4. So number 4 on our list, Until Dawn, looks like a refreshing take in the horror industry genre of video games right now, when you have all these zombie games and everything's survival and zombie or zombie survival. It's really refreshing to see a game that takes a serial killer and puts him in your house and lets you play as a half-naked lady. Now, with all that aside, this game does look like a very fun mix between something like similar to Outlast and then like a point-and-click adventure with some amazing graphics and just some really intense moments here in just the trailer. You'll see here that you've got this kind of this weird new thing where you're not physically like I don't really know how to describe it. It's a weird type of game where you're making decisions by pushing different buttons and choosing whether you stay here or go there. And you got a really kind of creepy guy. Kind of reminds me of like a mix of Saw, Outlast, and it really is doing it for me. I'm really kind of excited to play a game that's getting away from zombies and getting more into the horror genre. Movie-like game is the best way that I can explain this one. It seems to have a really unique set for the fear options here, where you're able to hide under beds and your character will tremble if she's scared. You'll see here that she just attacked the guy and is going to try and get away, and it looks all in all like a very, very fun game, and we can't wait to play it. So let's move on to number 3. Alright guys, moving on to number 3, we have Killing Floor 2, one of the most anticipated PC shooters, cooperatively of course, for 2015 is this game. And let me tell you, the things that I see from Killing Floor 2 just blow me away. A gore system with 22 different locations for hitting enemies, repeatable animations, and all sorts of different
weapons and characters, and we're even seeing some things return from the old game, which everybody loved, in the forms of the katana, the bullpup, the shotguns, some of the different creatures, and I'm sure we're going to expect new creatures out of Killing Floor 2 as well. They came up with their own unique dismemberment system called the Meat System, which allows you to do all sorts of different things, from blowing off different body parts and different levels of different body parts. Like you can shoot the skin or like a chunk out of a leg, or you can shoot chunks out of a head to expose the skull and then the brain, and you can see them bleeding all over the place. And just an all-around rework of the graphics and the gameplay really make this one stand out on the list of games that I really want to check out this year. And yeah, it's a bit over the top, and there's a lot going on here, but you know, that's PC gaming for you. We don't have a lot of standards as far as the amount of detail and stuff that we'll put into gore and systems and things like that. But overall, the lighting, the ambiance, it really makes Killing Floor 2 a game that I want to play in 2014. Well deserving of the number 3 spot. So we're now moving on to the number 2 most anticipated game of 2015. Stick around, and we'll get right to it.
The next game up on our list, guys, is The Division, and I've been following this game for a long time, waiting for the right moment to strike and tell everybody how amazing it is, and it is not here yet. Hopefully we'll get a release date sometime this year, and this doesn't go on next year's 2016 top anticipated list. It is due out for release this year, and let me tell you, third-person, cooperative, PvP, RPG, all sorts of elements packed in here. You got a good destruction system. You've got all sorts of, you got co-op versus AI. You got co-op versus enemies. You got the big level of New York. You got a nice, interesting story that you don't really get a whole lot these days, and it seems to be doing the Tom Clancy's name proud. And The Division is something I'm really, really looking forward to. You can see here through the gameplay, there's just so much detail with the bullets going through and making dents, and different levels of the glass breaking and the team working together, and then you top that with different skill sets, different perks, different abilities based on the things that you're getting. So when you kill an enemy, you'll get a set amount of XP, and then you can spend that XP on other things. And then you've got this drop-in, drop-out cooperative support from the second screen, or the tablet side of things, or your phone, and you're able to go in and help your friends, maybe use your smartphone or your tablet as a UAV or something to disable enemy HUDs or to disrupt enemy vision, stuff like that. And it just all seems to make so much sense, and it's a shame that it hasn't been done before. And hopefully every time, moving on to the third-person shooter genre, if this game really lives up to the hype, hopefully everybody will try and mimic and copy what this game brings to the table, because it just looks amazing. The graphics and all the things that I mentioned previously make it the number 2 spot on the top 5 countdown. Now, moving on to number 1.
Afghanistan is a big place. I expect you'll become quite familiar with those binoculars as you plan your next move. How and where you make it, well, that's up to you. From here on out, you're on your own.
Last but not least, we have Metal Gear Solid 5, The Phantom Pain. Definitely my most anticipated game, maybe not just of 2015, but of all time. It finally goes back and ties in all of the Metal Gear Solid, games that we know and love, and completes the story and shows us the transformation of a great patriotic soldier into a lunatic madman hell-bent on employing his way of life on other people in the world. Now, in addition to the story